Don't mess with Cthulhu Deluxe. This is a game of secret identities set in the world of H.P. Lovecraft. I love Lovecraft. I would play anything that has the name Cthulhu on the box. And also I like games of secret identity. However, maybe, like me, you're a little bit suspicious at this point. We've had many of those and many excellent ones. Coup, The Resistance, One Night Werewolf, Secret Hitler, and you're wondering, well, can a game still add something to this family of games? Well, the answer is like, yes, Cthulhu does the secret identity thing, but does it differently. And let's see how. The main components that you have in the game are a set of tiles representing investigators with the Elder Sign, and cultists just looking like cultists. Also with the Cthulhu symbol in the top left corner. At the beginning of the game, you shuffle them. Of course, you will need to select a number of them based on the number of players, so that you have different compositions of cultists and investigators. And then you give each player a card that they look at it secretly. Ooh, investigator. Ooh, investigator. Ooh, cultist. Next, you take these cards here. There are three types of cards here. You have a piece of boring rock, also known as futile investigation, the Elder Sign, and then one card representing the Dark Lord of the Abyss, him, her, or itself. It all depends. Cthulhu. So you will always have Cthulhu, you will have a number of Elder Signs and a number of futile investigations that you shuffle together. The total number of cards that you will have in this deck will be equal to the number of players times 5. And then you simply assign a hand of 5 cards to each player. And so, like this, I'm doing it kind of not so randomly, cheating a little, but that should give you a sense of what's happening here. Oh, look, 5 per player, almost supernatural. Now, each player looks at their cards and then can declare how many cards they have of each kind. For example, I can say I have an Elder Sign and I have Cthulhu, which also means 3 boring futile investigations. After a player does that, they place their cards face down in a line clearly visible. Again, next to their secret identity. This is the player looks at the card that says, oh, I have 2 Elder Signs and I also have Cthulhu, so I guess the other player is lying. Yes, because like in many other games of secret identities, you can say absolutely anything that you want. Actually, I skipped an important passage. You look at your cards, you declare what you have, which may be right or wrong, you may lie or not. Then you shuffle the cards and you place them face down in a line. So that actually, between when you declare it and when the next part of the round starts, you yourself have no idea of where your cards are. If you have Cthulhu or the Elder Sign, you know they're there, but you don't know where they are. Next, we take this very important game component, the electric thingy, and then you give it to the first player. The first player will use it to select a card belonging to any player other than themselves. Between this, before this token is assigned to a player, there should be some discussion. Everybody can discuss, everybody can say absolutely whatever the heck they want. Players provide input, and cultists probably are trying to mislead the investigators. The investigators may be also trying to mislead the cultists, because the cultists don't know who they are. They don't know who their confederates are. There may be advantages in factoring an investigator infiltrating the cultists, and the cultists believe that you are one of them. Now, the active player, whoever that may be, chooses another player after this discussion and places the token on one of those cards, so the card is then revealed. And futile investigations don't do anything. Elder Signs need to be set aside in a specific area. If Cthulhu is revealed, the cultists lose the game immediately. After that, then you simply repeat. And this player says, blah, 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 discussion. I'm going to assign my token to this player here. We're going to place it here. Future investigation again. And so on and so forth. You continue like this for until a number of cards has been revealed that is equal to the number of players. That does not mean that each player will get to reveal a card, because maybe a player will reveal 3 cards and the players will reveal none. But when a number of cards equal to the number of players is revealed, the round is over. Then what you do, you take all of the remaining cards, you shuffle them, and you assign them evenly to each player. That means that each player starts round 1 with 5 cards, and each player starts round 2 with 4 cards. And the game continues. We talk, we talk, we talk. Oh, actually, remember, you look at your cards again. I have 2 Elder Signs. I have only Future Investigations. Only have Future Investigations. I don't have Cthulhu, I swear. The game continues. Revealing cards. Oh, Elder Signs. So, and if the game is not over, then the next round each player will have 3 cards, and so on and so forth, until basically the game may last up to 4 rounds, which means the 4th round will start with each player having 2 cards, and at this point, remember, Cthulhu is still there. The cultists win if Cthulhu is ever revealed, or if the game reaches its conclusion before all the Elder Signs in the deck have been found. Remember, you place a number of Elder Signs in the deck at the beginning of the game. If all the Elder Signs are found before either of the other 2 conditions that I described is triggered, then the investigators win the game. So investigators, don't reveal Cthulhu, find all the Elder Signs, and that is how you will win the game. Sometimes I say in my videos that a game to be good only needs to have one good idea that is well implemented, and that may just be enough for the game to be good, to be worth playing. This may be the case with Don't Mess with Cthulhu, which differentiates itself from other hidden identity games that I played for the fact that it separates your identity from the resources that will determine who wins and who loses. That is to say, for example, in the Resistance, you are the spy, and then you are always going to vote in a certain way. You're the werewolf, you're always going to try to kill somebody. If you are, again, the cultist, the werewolf, the assassin, the spy, whatever it is, you rarely, I can't think of a way in which you inadvertently are going to lose the game, even when you're playing fairly well. It is fun here that you may be the cultist and you may have an Elder Sign. You may be the investigator and you may have Cthulhu. It's such a simple idea, but it really works well. Simply separating your identity and the cards that will determine who wins and who loses. So certain times you want to be chosen, you want players to take your cards, and other times you don't want them. That creates all sort of levels of negotiation, of meta thinking. I'm thinking they're thinking, I'm lying, but I know that they're lying. In fact, to the point that I'm not gonna start listing them or analyzing them, because it would just feel very pedantic. Like, this is a situation in which you think that she will think that, but then he'll think that. So you want to trick and da. It just feels very pedantic and dry. And part of the fun is precisely in discovering all of these things. There was a game in which I was there like thinking, like, oh, this game is good. This game is pretty fun. Then I realized a whole other level at which it could work. My eyes popped. I was, oh my gosh! I just realized this game is great. Just sort of like insight. One of the discoveries also that I made that made the game so much more interesting to me is that everybody has an incentive to lie. Again, there are games of hidden identities in which there is no incentive for some players to lie. But here, if you are a detective, an investigator, and people believe that you are a cultist, there may be advantages. Then your fellow cultists are gonna come and take your cards, and maybe that's another sign. Of course, then I have Cthulhu, so how do I play with that? Because I'm the investigator, that the cultists think is a cultist, but I do have effectively Cthulhu, so I might effectively bring my team to defeat. This is so fun. It's hard for me to articulate precisely because in a certain sense, it's about the fun of the social interaction, the social engagement, so many crazy things that will happen as you lie and you realize how stupid your lie was. Now you're compromised and then you're doing the craziest things to try to regain other people's trust, and precisely because of that, you look more like a liar. There's just fun of the social interaction which transcends simply what you may imagine the game is from the components and from the rules. But then also when it comes more specifically to the mechanics of the game, this game is just so interesting and fun precisely because of all the different ways in which you had to handle this task of, like, sometimes I want to be called upon, sometimes I don't want people to include me in their searches. Again, as opposed to if you are a saboteur in certain games, you always want to go on a mission and you always want to do your sabotage thing. It's also pretty exciting that you yourself don't know which of your cards is which, and so when players put their token there, there's a true moment of excitement because you know you have Cthulhu and you have 3 cards and somebody is placing a token on you and you're an investigator, then, well, there's that. That's a pretty exciting moment. And players, and also the game, the excitement of the game ramps up precisely as the number of available cards narrows. There are the identity game, hidden identity games in which I don't say it's always the same thing several times, but you don't have such a clear, clean, strong sense of progression as the odds of finding Cthulhu increase, and so both the cultists and the investigators get more excited, although for different reasons. In sum, Don't Mess with Cthulhu is a really, really good hidden identity game. I wasn't sure that it was possible to cook that old recipe in a way that feels fun and fresh and engaging, and yet this game does precisely that. It's a fun game of hidden identities. When the group wants to play a game of this kind, I'm definitely going to include Don't Mess with Cthulhu among the options because we had a blast playing it, and I really think that in its category in this family of games, this is a really strong one.